And tonight, for In Your Corner, we're going to get you answers if and when the next storm comes our way. You might remember how tough it was to find gas when Irma struck last year. For In Your Corner's Adam Pinsker asking a top emergency manager in Collier County, what's the plan to make sure you can get that fuel when you need it most? Adam?
Patrick, Collier County officials are discussing the idea of requiring all gas stations, specifically ones away from the interstate, to have generators in the event of a power failure so they can provide fuel after a storm. Now, some drivers say the issue is more of a fuel supply one rather than a power issue.
I see more empty gas stations than I do stations with gas.
That was on September 13th, 2017, 2 days after Hurricane Irma, when it was almost easier to find a snowball than a gallon of gas in Collier County.
We knew where the gas was, but still waiting in line. It took about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Todd Bond hasn't forgotten about the post-Irma fuel drought, so I asked Collier County officials what they're planning to do to make sure you can fill up when you need gas the most. Emergency Manager Dan Summers tells me they're being proactive. The county plans to ask the governor to lift weight restrictions on tankers so they can get here faster with fuel.
Not only is there a supply issue, there's a power issue in terms of getting the fuel out of the ground.
There is already an ordinance in place that requires gas stations near the interstate to have generators, but Summers is pushing the county to expand that ordinance to gas stations off the interstate. In the past, some stations had gas, but without power couldn't sell to people wanting to pay with credit and debit cards.
Pumps are connected to the internet. And if there's an absence of internet capability, then you lose that point of sale capability.
But Bond, who is a lifelong Southwest Florida resident, says the real issue is there just wasn't enough gas on hand at the time of the storm.
When a disaster like that hits, there's not a whole lot anybody can do. I just maybe have more in reserve and ready to go.
And county officials say that Collier's fuel supply was crippled also because the Port of Tampa and Port of Miami were closed leading up to and during the storm, and a lot of our fuel actually comes from those ports. Reporting from Collier County, Adam Pinsker, Fox 4, In Your Corner.